All right, here we go again. Bear down. We're going for it. This is the what I believe the Bears will do mock draft. I'm giving you guys what you want. We've slowed down on the mock drafts because I'm trying to give you more analytical, stats-based, prove-it points type of research that helps give you guys some things to look and gnaw on as we move into the combine, as we move into free agency, and we move into the draft. Things that you can look and say with these players, we want him and we want him and we don't want him. This is the problem. This isn't the problem. That's what I like doing. I get that you guys like the mock drafts. I like the mock drafts too, if I'm being honest with myself. But the reality is, I want it to tie in. So this is going to tie in to what I've been talking about with the video on Ryan Poles and what he can do with Generational Haul, what he can really do moving this team towards the future. And I wanted to think to myself, what would Ryan Poles do in his style of being a GM? And I'm going to give you a more conservative approach to Ryan Poles and what I think he'll do as we head into this pre-combine, into the free agency, and into the draft. So first, I really think this is where he wants to go, is to 1-2. All the writing's on the wall with that. Everyone knows that. We've talked about 15 different times. I don't need to hit it again. But with Magic Johnson and his group wanting to make a splash, wanting Caleb Williams to be their hometown boy, Cliff Kingsbury there, I think literally, this is my opinion, right now I think they're in negotiations and they're not wanting to budge on giving both seconds, or they don't want to give a future first. It is a lot. A lot of you who haven't watched my trade value video or what's a realistic trade worth or the trade value charts, go check that one out. Really, 1-2 and 240 is worth 1-1. That's a straight across the board equal value trade. And obviously 1-1 has more weight and leverage, so it gets more value off of the exact numbers. So 1-2, 236, 240. On a normal year, you've got a couple quarterbacks people fall in love with. You've got overpaying going on. So this is realistic of what could happen. 1-2, 236, 240, 2025 first-round pick. Am I going to be shocked if it ends up being 1-2, 236, and third round pick instead? No, I'm not going to be shocked, especially since the Commanders have two of them. They're going to want to try to leverage as hard as they want. Here's the difference. Right now, we're in pre-combine mode. They're in conversations as we speak right now. This is what Ryan Poles is doing. He's working his magic. The Commanders don't want him to get to the combine and talk to all these other teams and let those other teams get a feeling that they could control this draft and they can get the guy that they want. The Commanders want to keep controlling that. So the more they want to control that, the more they're going to come to an agreement before the combine happens. If we don't see an agreement before the combine happens, that means they haven't done it, and that opens up a floodgate of worries for the Commanders. I think they'll get this done right before the combine. If not, they're going to see Ryan Poles at the combine talking to all these other GMs. They're going to worry. They're going to pull the trigger right after the combine. One of those two. But the combine is crucial for this. It's a crucial time frame. You're going to see it within the next week to 2 weeks of what's going to happen here, and it's going to start flooding right after that. So this is reality. This is what I think will happen. All right, the next step is free agency. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. These are the three guys that I'm going to target. Xavier McKinney, I really love as a safety. I think we're going to hit free agency for the safety more than the draft, and it's all going to come together once free agency hits. But I really believe Xavier McKinney is the best option for us. He's a great tackler. He's great coverage. He's the perfect fit for us with the guys that aren't going to be tagged, and I think he's the perfect fit for the Bears. Maurice Hurst is a great prove-it deal, always injured, but great when he does play. And Curtis Samuel doesn't drop the ball, great passer rating when targeted, gets open. I really think he's the perfect fit for slot receiver as well as a rookie at slot receiver to be able to have both those options. I really see our wide receiver room being super improved this year. Now, here's the big bomb I'm going to drop on you guys. I've made this a month and a half ago, my suggestion that the Bears give Justin Fields, and once the decision is made, the draft pick is traded, the Bears give Justin Fields an extension that takes 2024, the fifth-year option worth $22 million next year, and an extra year that's, roughly graded at $40-45 million. Combine those three together, so 45 plus 22 is 67, plus the extra 3 he's owed right now, 70. Take that 70, divide it by 3, and make it restructured into a contract that benefits both the Bears and Justin Fields. This is what it would look like. So we're going to give him a little more in 2024. We know the salary cap is going to increase, so we're going to lock him in now. We're going to say, Justin Fields, we believe in you. We've seen the metrics. We know what's going on behind the scenes. We've got a new coach that we specifically hired just for you and for the development of this offense to be able to take off. We think Shane Waldron is a future head coach, and he's an amazing mind, and he's going to do great things with you the same way he did with Geno. We're going to give you a little bonus now. We're going to give you an extra $5.5 million this year. We're going to give you a little more than you would have got on the 5th year next year. You're going to have less guarantees in 2026, but it puts off giving you that huge contract so we can try to win a Super Bowl now in this next 3-year window. We believe we can win a Super Bowl with you. You do that with us, and we will give you that long-term extension in 2027 to ride into the sunset for years to come and win multiple Super Bowls together. We've got a young team. We've got tons of draft picks. This is the vision we see. Can you buy into that, Justin Fields? And I am confident he would buy into that. He would sign that contract. It would be beneficial for both the team and Justin Fields. Very similar to a Jordan Love type of contract last year that you can nitpick and you can criticize, but it benefited both Jordan Love and it benefited the Packers. This is the same situation. With that, here's our new salary cap projections. I know it's not sexy. All of you guys want someone huge to be signed in free agency, but the reality is, once you sign Jalen Johnson to his extension, which we have to do because his coverage grades are so phenomenal, it's not just about the interceptions. It's about how he plays the game too. And NFL pass rating against him is at 30%, guys. It's in the 30s. That's ridiculous. Get him, get Curtis Samuel, Xavier McKinney, sign Fields to his extension, get a prove-it deal on a tackle that we're going to have a drafted defensive end next year in the draft anyways. Get some returning league minimum contracts with Dylan Cole and Mercedes Lewis, and away we go. We are set on our salary cap. We're just fine, and it goes up next year to the astronomical numbers that it's going to jump in 2025, and the Bears are in great position. With that, the Chicago Bears pick with the 2nd overall pick, Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver out of Ohio State. The huge thing I want to say about him is not only his hands, but in every aspect of receiving, he's in the highest percentile of receiving. He creates separation, he runs beautiful routes, and he high points the ball. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a no-brainer for me. With the 9th pick, the Bears are going to trade down with the Seattle Seahawks. You guys already know why. I really believe this is going to happen because centers don't come around like Jackson Powers Johnson does very often. We talked about in free agency possibly addressing both the center there and picking Jackson Powers Johnson because he played guard in 2022 and played it at an elite level in college. But I think they really want him as their starting guard for the future and on. He's NFL ready now. So the Bears give up 1-9 for 116, 376, and a future 2nd-round pick. This is a realistic conservative value. Could Poles get more? Yes, possibly. Possibly he could, but this is realistic value from trading from 9 to 16 and getting that future value as well to have next year's draft continue to build on this team, continuing to build brick by brick. All right, so with that, I've already let the cat out of the bag, but we're going to go ahead and get into it. We are going to draft Jackson Powers Johnson, center out of Oregon, who only allowed 1 pressure of any kind this entire last year. He's equally as effective as a pass blocker and a run blocker. He's played both center and guard, but he's going to be the starting center for the Chicago Bears. Lock it down. All right, some of you might not agree with this one, but I'm going to go ahead and go with my gut on this anyways. Here's the thing about Xavier Legette. Yes, he lost 2 inches at the Senior Bowl and practice week and the weigh-ins there. It doesn't change the way he played the game. He's the same. He's an amazing receiver with hands that don't drop anything, and he's played out of the slot as well. He can play both on the outside and in the slot. He can play with Curtis Samuel rotating in that slot. He can play on the outside. He's so valuable, and he's like DJ Moore in the fact that he's a truck. Once he gets the ball, he's a yak machine, and he can run people over. And if his 40 time comes in at 4.29 at the combine, like they say he is right now, like on Draft Buzz, how it shows right there on your screen, if his 40 time really is 4.29, he might not last the 36. But because of his lower height, They're saying he's fallen back a little bit. He's around 40. If the Bears pick him up at 36, I am probably the happiest Bears fan in the world that we got Marvin Harrison Jr. at 2 and Xavier Legette at 36. I don't know. I'll be screaming and shouting, jumping up and down. One of my favorite players. All right, you guys know I've been touting Darius Robinson since he's been in the 5th and 6th round projections. Bringing him up to the 2nd round is still worth it to me. Picking him with the 40th pick is a great rotational piece with Marcus Walker, in my opinion. I love this pick. I would take it all day. One of my favorite players in the draft, I haven't hidden that whatsoever. Cade Stover, coming in 12 personnel sets with Cole Kmet. The two of them as a tandem, I think, would be absolutely phenomenal. He never, ever, ever drops the ball. He just doesn't. He's a bruiser, converted linebacker. There's not enough I can say about Cade Stover other than I freaking love him as a prospect, and I really, really hope the Bears select him. It's one of my favorite picks if we do. All right, now in typical full polls fashion, we've got 2 picks back-to-back, 75 and 76. This is a thing polls would do to create more value. 3rd round still has solid value to get additional picks. Yes, your best picks are going to be in the first couple days, but to get a couple extra picks and drop down 10 slots is something Ryan Poles would absolutely. And with that, we're going to pick up Zach Zinter. You guys know how much I like Zach Zinter. I've touted him before over and over and over again. Coming back from injury, I think he could be a quality rotational piece to come in and relieve Nate Davis if Nate Davis isn't playing well. And either way to come in, I don't think at the combine he's going to be completely back to health and completely up to snuff, so I don't know if he's going to be rising boards, but we've watched what he can do, and I think he's a great option for the Bears to bring in. Possible Nate Davis replacement even this year, but definitely into 2025. All right, then Audric Estime, we're going to pick at 111. Yes, he's not the Christian McCaffrey type that all of us want, that everyone, but we're not there yet. 2025 draft would be more of that. He's a bruiser. He's a solid runner, and in the future we can pick a first-round running back if we get to that point. Running through these a little quicker at this point, but 123, we're going to select Walter Rouse, who I think is a solid swing tackle. He needs to come in and work with strength and conditioning. His run blocking isn't the best. He doesn't get out like the Bears like people to do, but he's an anchor. He does not allow sacks, hit, or hurries at all. He's super solid in that respect. I really like the prospect that he is if you look into his metrics and his numbers. Walter Rouse, to me, is a quality swing tackle to come in because that was the biggest thing that hurt us last year with Braxton Jones' injury was Larry Borum coming in. That absolutely killed us. All right, Drake Nugent, I'm going to double dip on center. I know you guys might not love that, but we don't have a center right now. We have Lucas Patrick and we have Cody Whitehair, both gone. Racking my brain. Doug Kramer was a necessity pick a couple years ago. No, he hasn't worked out. We've had him on the practice squad. We've even had to cut him at certain times when we've needed to make roster adjustments. So Drake Nugent comes in. He's worked with Zach Zinter. He's a quality backup guard or center in the NFL. So I like the prospect of Drake Nugent working with Zach Zinter. They're on the line together, see what they can develop and do. This is a quality backup center. That's what we need is depth. And so I do see us double dipping at center. All right, you guys know how much I love Joe Milton as a prospect. No, I don't think he's NFL ready. He's not a polished quarterback ready for the NFL, but he has the size. He is built like an NFL quarterback. 6'5", 235, cannon of an arm. And yes, he needs to work on his accuracy and his long passing, and that's what you do is you bring guys in and you work with them. You develop them. You bring good quality coaches in for that reason. Is he going to pass up Tyson Bagent in his first year? Probably not. He has the size and mechanics to be able to do it, but he's not polished. So I like the idea of Joe Milton coming in and being another backup to be able to learn the system and have depth because we haven't had that, and we like building that now. With our last pick, now we're going to get Ketan Oladapo, Oregon State safety, gives us some more depth. This is what you do with your 6th and 7th round picks, which we don't have now, but we acquired this one by trading down a little bit, and that's a very Poles type of move. Great coverage grades, a great tackler. So I really like Ketan Oladapo, and I think he would be great to be able to bring in and give depth in that safety room, even after we've already picked up Xavier McKinney. It just gives us more options. He's played multiple positions as well. He can play strong safety. He can play free safety. He can also play in slot corner. So he gives great depth option to the Bears. And is he going to wow anyone or steal anyone's job day one? I don't think so. But it gives us great options as we move forward with this Bears team. That's what we want, is more depth. So here's a recap of all of our draft picks. You can read through them. I'm not going to read through them all because we're making this one a little longer than I intended it to be. But we have a future first to go along with our own first and 2 future seconds to go along with our own second. That gives us such a phenomenal 2025 that we can continue to do this. We can trade down a little bit and get more draft picks if we're in the right position. Is Washington going to be a playoff team next year? I don't think so. Are they going to be the worst team in the league? No. I bet that pick ends up being somewhere around, I don't know, let's say 10. They'll be the 10th pick, and then the Bears make the playoffs. They'll be somewhere around the 32nd pick. Let's just have fun with it. Okay, maybe the 28th, 25th, who knows, but right up there. So, no, we don't have the same first and 9th pick, but that's a good thing. But we still have high-quality picks. So if you've got 5 picks in the top 60, that's pretty huge for this team continuing to build, and we could probably trade a couple of them back and get more picks for the future yet again. All right, so there's our future picks for next year. 2 firsts, 3 seconds, a third, and if Ian Cunningham gets hired away from us after that, another third. This is building up. This is stacking for the future. It's looking really positive for the Bears. Here's our offense. I'm not going to read through the entire thing, but it's stacked. It's a lot better than it has been. That offensive line, yes, it's youth, but it's very strong. It also has the wide receiver room of DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr., Xavier Legette, Curtis Samuel, Tyler Scott, and Bayless Jones. I like that a lot. And on defense, there's your defense. With the 2025 class having elite defensive ends, DeMarcus Walker coming towards the end of his reign here. Dominic Robinson going to be cut for sure. Montez Sweat signed long-term. If we draft a defensive end in the first round next year with our first pick that we have, let's say it's Washington's pick at 10, I'm excited to pair him with Montez Sweat next year. But DeMarcus Walker has played very well. We got the 2 rookies as well. Well, second-year guys, Gervon Dexter, Zach Pickens. Bringing Xavier McKinney in, Jalen Johnson. Not too many changes on defense, just adding to the depth, adding to the strength of this team. All right, so there it is. There's what I believe the Bears will do. This is where I believe the Bears are going to be as we end the draft and as we move into the offseason, into the middle of the season, as we build into training camps and conditioning. This is where I believe the Bears will be. This would be a team I'm very excited for. So this is my fantasy draft. All right, let me know what you guys think. We've done another mock draft for you now, and I enjoyed this one thoroughly. Let me know your thoughts and comments. I think there's a bright future for the Bears either way. So until next time, if you haven't liked, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing it. I really like to put this stuff out. Please consider doing it. Hit that bell button so you can get notifications. Share this as much as you want to. And until next time, bear down.